Marching on together, marching on together, marching on together, fans are con de Bolivia. Marching on together, fans are con de Bolivia.
Hello and welcome to the El Loco Leeds football channel with my official Facebook group partner Leeds Plus, episode 12 of the fanview. You are all welcome on a Wednesday evening. You can see on screen my wonderful friend from All Leeds TV, one of the legendary YouTube creators of All Leeds TV, original member, Oscar. Welcome to the El Loco Leeds football channel. You know, real pleasure having you. Thank you for fitting me in. How you doing, mate?
It's an absolute pleasure, mate. I'll tell you what, that's one of the best intros I think I've ever had. That was lovely. That was lovely.
You know what? I tell you, I learned so much from watching you guys on All Leeds TV. I've always said to Joe, because he's been on the channel as well, that if you guys are the Marcelo Bielsa of Leeds United football YouTube creation, I might call us Cobra on. So you guys are really, really good, and I love your channel. I love watching it. You guys are my inspiration for me creating the El Loco Leeds football channel. So welcome on, and let's get straight into it, mate. The Euros.
Cheers, mate. I'm looking forward to this.
Let's talk about the Euros. I think the whole country is now just about getting their lives back together. What a ride, what a journey we've had as England, as England fans. We've got, it was so wonderful to get to a final. And, I think the boys done tremendously well. Calvin Phillips played really, really well. The football, Gareth Southgate's brand of football, openly, not for me, but, because we've got Marcelo Bielsa, we're used to seeing a different brand of football. But, England done incredibly well. Win, lose, or draw, it was really, really good. And we lost out on penalties. Oscar, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously going into the tournament, we'd seen from the qualifiers that England were never going to be fantastic to watch. No matter how well or badly we did in the tournament, it was never going to be a brilliant watch. I can't remember the last time or any time where I've watched England and thought, wow, this is absolutely breathtaking football. So it didn't bother me that much, to be honest, mate, that it wasn't particularly entertaining. A lot of the games were kind of 1-0, very, very close, tight games, or 1-1 as the final was. And, that was kind of what I was expecting. I think, obviously, a lot of the talk before the tournament started was about the defence. That it was a concern. I never really felt that, to be honest. I thought there was a lot of players in that back line who had had really strong second half of the seasons for their clubs. I think obviously KP and Rice, I always felt could play together. Maybe not that well in terms of how they did, they forced Tony Kroos into retirement after that Germany game. That's quite something. But yeah, I think obviously we were a little bit unlucky in the final in terms of how the goal went in, that equaliser. It couldn't have been much worse, but we've gone through the tournament. We haven't conceded a goal from open play. There's been some good performances in there. I thought we played well in the knockouts, to be honest. It wasn't breathtakingly good to watch, but I thought we deserved to get through into that final. I thought we were one of the best two teams at the tournament. I think Italy ultimately, over the whole 7 games, probably played the best football. And had the best balance overall. But yeah, I think we did really well, and I think it's roll on Qatar 2022. I think you look at the likes of Stones, Maguire, Kane, Sterling, they'll hopefully be at their peak come 2022. I think they'll be roughly 27, 28, 29, so approaching those peak years. And then the likes of obviously Sancho, KP, Rice, etc., Phil Foden, all these players that are just kind of emerging. Let's not forget, a lot of these players in this squad have only played about 10 games, had 10 caps for England before, or 15, or they're not very experienced players. So to get to the final is great credit to them. And I think with more experience, yes, in Qatar, the conditions maybe will be a little bit less used to in terms of the heat. And I'd like to think we'll have a little bit more of the ball. I think we had 35% of the ball in the final. I'd like to think in Qatar, in that heat, we won't be chasing shadows as much. We will be a little bit more progressive. But yeah, I'm happy, to be honest, mate. I think obviously good credit to Gareth Southgate. You have to look at what he's done. It's not been breathtakingly good to watch, but it's a semi-final and a final at 2 attempts. You look at some of the managers who have had that England job, they've never got past the quarter-final, most of them. So full credit to Gareth Southgate, and let's hope he stays on, because that's not guaranteed yet. From what I saw of his kind of closing interview of the tournament, I think the way he's kind of speaking didn't sound, I'm not saying he's going to leave, but it didn't sound like it was jump straight back into it kind of thing. It felt like he's going to take a little bit of time to assess things. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, look, you put it in a nutshell, really, really good. And look, I'm not going to talk too much about England because it's the Euros. They've gone now. Let's put it to one side, and we've got to concentrate on the season because we are only 5 weeks away. But England done well, and I think they can build and take the positives, because the positives have far outweighed the negatives in this tournament. This leads me on to Calvin Phillips. I think he was phenomenal. Look, a couple of years ago, this guy was playing in the Championship. A couple of years before Bielsa came in, we were contemplating whether shall we keep Ronaldo Vieira or shall we keep Calvin Phillips. And the way Calvin has developed his game under Marcelo, we as a fan base, I mean, for me, I was so proud of Calvin. Now, anytime he had the ball in that tournament, he looked so comfortable. He looked, and if it wasn't for his pass in the first game to set up Sterling, we wouldn't have been in this position. So that's a positive there. Calvin's only young. He's going to, this experience that he's had playing against the likes of Germany, the likes of Italy, it's only going to be very beneficial for, you guessed it, Leeds United. What he's going to bring this experience into this second season, a very important second season for us. I don't believe in second season syndromes because that doesn't happen to Leeds United. It doesn't happen to Marcelo Bielsa. And I think the experience that he's going to get, that he's got already, and Calvin's just going to go on, and he's just going to, he'll be our key man. He was a key man last season before that, but you watch him now, he's just going to mature and flourish into a great player. I mean, you'll take him, Calvin.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree, mate. I think obviously it can only be beneficial that he's trained with genuinely world-class footballers. There are a lot of players in that England squad that go as far to say as being world-class. So that can only help him. I think obviously for England at the Euros, he was kind of playing in a slightly different position. He was playing a little bit higher up, certainly earlier in the tournament against Croatia. As you said, mate, that bit of work he did for the Sterling goal, you wouldn't see that in this Leeds team. And I'm not saying he's restricted in this Leeds team. He just plays a totally different role, and it was a nice reminder, I think, to myself and any Leeds fan really, that Calvin can play higher up the pitch. If needs be, at some point next season, we need Calvin to play higher up the pitch, or we have a formation change, that can be an option if you want to play him a little bit more box to box. But for me, he'll keep that position he's already got. That holding midfield role, that single pivot role, he will keep that for next season, I would imagine. But it's an option. It's a plan B. If we are chasing the game, we know how well Calvin presses from the front. We saw it in this tournament. I think in terms of pressing stats, Calvin was levels above any player at this tournament. Levels above any player in terms of those kind of statistics. So that kind of proves the point of Bielsa's fitness. And that's it really. I think you can really spot the Bielsa players at that tournament. You can spot them from a mile off in terms of intensity and what they're doing off the ball, and in terms of how they keep on going for 90 minutes. You can see that very clearly. But yeah, Calvin was absolutely superb. For me, I'd actually have Calvin in the team of the tournament, and that might seem biased, but I genuinely thought, he probably was. I'd say he was the best holding midfielder at the tournament, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think he should have been in that team of the tournament. And guys, the subscribers, tell me in the comments below, you reckon Calvin should have been in the team of the tournament? I think Calvin should have been. Just want to talk about Leeds United now. Like I said beforehand,
the proper football.
Yeah, proper football. Let's talk about. The season's about to start. This is the first sort of fan view episode where I'm really going to focus now on Leeds United, obviously. And first of all, let's talk about some outgoings of the club. Alioski, another chap who was in the Euros, he's left us. And, obviously Pablo and Berardi, they were leaving. But we've lost Alioski, and also Kiko Casilla yesterday left us for a loan move to Lecce. I think that's how you pronounce them. Oscar might be able to correct me, but Kiko Casilla leaving, Alioski leaving. What do you think?
Well, first of all, about Alioski, I think it was always kind of 50-50 with Gianni. I think he finished last season quite well, to be honest, in terms of left back. We won't forget that performance at the Etihad. In terms of that pass, the pass of the season, I felt in terms of into Stuart Dallas. So yeah, it was always 50-50, but I never really felt that going forward, as much as I love Gianni in terms of what he's done for the club, he's been a fantastic servant to this football club. I never really saw him as a first choicer in this Leeds team in terms of at left back, especially.
Yeah.
I did always feel that if he stayed, he had to accept kind of a bit more of a rotational role in terms of he'd come in at left back if there's an injury or a suspension or if we're changing formation. So I'm not going to blame Gianni for that. Look, he's what is he now? 29, 30 years of age. 30, I think he is now, isn't he? Or was he 30 next year? He's coming towards that kind of peak stage of his career where he's going to have to get that. If he's going to get a big contract, it's now. He's not going to get it in 2 years' time if he stayed at Leeds and then moved on later on. I've seen all sorts of rumours in terms of where he's going to go to. I think that's still up in the air in that respect. I think I saw Roma at one point being linked.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see how he goes. I think, I'll be honest, I think in terms of Italian football, probably suit Gianni quite well in terms of quite a bit of a slower speed. So we can get back into position from time to time when he loves going charging forward like Gianni does. But yeah, I'm going to miss Gianni. I think he's someone that you look at our other options at left back. Obviously, we'll go on to Junior Firpo in a second, but in terms of who just signed. But then you look at it and say the depth at left back is no real different really, because we've lost a left back and now we've bought left back. Obviously, I think Firpo's a much better player, but in terms of depth respect, maybe there's even the case of bringing in another left back, but I don't think that will happen. But yeah, it's not a massive surprise Gianni's not gone. I did have that feeling he might stay, but he's chosen not to. Or we've obviously not offered in terms that he wanted. It's the way it goes. I think it's all amicable. I think if Gianni ever does return to Ellen Road, he'll get a very lovely reception. In terms of Kiko Casilla, it just needed to be done for me. I think in terms of not just on ability-wise, I felt he's been a bit of a liability for us on the pitch for, if we're being honest, probably from the second half of 2019-2020, really. I think he's kind of made mistake after mistake. So much so that in the end, Marrio coming in was probably a crucial factor to the promotion, really. I'm not going to comment on, obviously, off the pitch, but that's not helped matters either. That's probably the biggest reason, I think, really, for why my feelings are what they are towards Kiko Casilla. I'm not going to make any mistake or correction about that. I do think that it's the right decision. The only thing is, maybe it could have been a permanent, but we've got him out on loan. That's the main thing. I think it's probably better for Kiko Casilla as well. He's playing football. He's in a new environment now. It probably, as much as it's his fault, it's clearly his fault, the reason the fans don't like him, it just wasn't doing anyone any good him staying at the football club. And I'm glad that, that decision's been made, because I just don't think he was good enough to be, a backup keeper at this level. As much as he was never going to be first choice over Marriot, let's get someone in now who can maybe fit the style of play a little bit better and be a bit more of a like-for-like replacement for Marriot if he gets injured, or very unlikely has a drop-off in form. But yeah, I think it's obvious that Marriot's the first-choice goalkeeper at this football club. There's no reason why he shouldn't be. He's one of the best young goalkeepers in Europe for me. I'd go that far. In terms of consistency, he doesn't have weaknesses. In terms of mentality, his mentality's fantastic. He made a couple of mistakes down at Arsenal. And he bounced back straight away. I think he kept 5 clean sheets on the bounce after that Arsenal game. So there's no question for me that Marriott is good enough. Let's just see if we can get a more reliable second choice keeper who's more popular with the fans. And I think it'd be very difficult to be less popular than Kiko Casilla. I think it'd be impossible to be less popular than Kiko Casilla. But for me, mate, it needs to be done. I'm not going to say anything more bad about Kiko Casilla. It just needed to be done for all parties for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, you summed him up quite well, and Alioski. And look, I wish both of the players well. Alioski, if he goes and moves on, fair play. He done really well. And Casilla, yes, he was off the field and all that. Yeah, and I believe that he's done his punishment. We move on and leave that chapter to one side. On the football side of things, was he a great keeper? No, he wasn't. He was you knew the liability that he was. And when you've got fans on your back, mentally,
it wasn't ending well.
It wasn't going to end well. But like I said, with Bielsa, he picked him a couple of times, and I backed the gaffer as well. So, but I know what you're saying. I think he needed to leave, and I think this is the best way of moving him on. But I wish him all the best as well as Alioski, because look, we have to move on. We have to build. Sentiment is one thing, but to get to another level, you do your foundation. You've got to get to your intermediate, and then eventually you go to the advanced level, and then some more players will be leaving from this season. So I think the way we are evolving, it's really well. It comes on to our incomings. Jack Harrison, he's permanent. I mean, for me, I think he was brought into the suitcase with Marcelo Bielsa. So I think he's just staying with us. But Jack Harrison, he had a very good season last season, and to make this transfer permanent, I think it's really good thing for Leeds United. Good work on part of Victor Orta. I think we've bought another lad from Birmingham City, a young lad, Adam. Was it Miller or something like that?
Yes.
And Ari Miller.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he's somebody for the future. I just believe that he's just there for the under-23s, and the lad Junior Firpo from Barcelona. Now that is a marquee signing, isn't it? £15 million or something around that ballpark. That's the kind of intention that Leeds United have showed. And we were talking off air. Your channel, my channel, deliberately hasn't done any transfer rumor videos because no transfer rumor video on YouTube actually picked out this transfer, Juniors. And there you go. Leeds have done their business behind closed doors. Nobody knew about it. And Victor Orta done a stellar job getting this lad in from Barcelona. He's a great player.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Firpo, it was very late on, wasn't it, when that rumour came out? And I think, to be fair, as a club, I think we've got a lot better in terms of when the done deals are practically over the line, in terms of it's a lot later you hear about it now. I think, obviously, back in the day, obviously, in the Championship, it was like, I'm thinking back to like Helder Costa and Ben White. We kind of knew about that like 6 weeks before, if you know what I mean. It was just kind of like a really, really badly kept secret. But now it's more exciting now, isn't it? I think in that respect that suddenly these signings can come in. Obviously, I've seen a lot of videos recently on Matthias Cunha and that lot from Hertha Berlin, and a couple of other players as well who might potentially be arriving. But yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? I think it's an exciting time of the season. I think obviously you want the football to come back at this stage, but it's quite exciting. When you're trying to work out your best 11 and all that, like you see all those kind of diagrams on Twitter in terms of will this be the starting 11 at Man United away, etc., etc. Yeah, it's an exciting time of the season, but I think Firpo's a fantastic start for us. I think obviously Harrison is technically a new signing as well, so we've kind of completely built our left sides on less than 25 million. And I think we've got two really, really good footballers. We all know about Jack Harrison. I think Jack Harrison's just going to continue to improve and improve and improve. I think his output's going to get better and better and better because it has done throughout his time at Leeds United. I think it was 8 goals, 8 assists last season. I see him kicking on again, potentially. We might be looking at double figures maybe next season with Jack Harrison. I think Firpo is someone who's going to definitely contribute in terms of in the final third a lot more than our current fullback options or any kind of fullback option we've had probably since kind of like the Ian Hart days, I'd probably say, in terms of what he can do. I think he's fantastic going forward. I think he's a very dynamic player. I think maybe there's slight question marks about him defensively. I think certainly at Barcelona, from time to time, you could talk about his positional sense, wasn't particularly good, but he couldn't work under a better manager in terms of to iron out those weaknesses and make him a world class or top class left back, then Marcelo Bielsa, we couldn't work with anyone better than him in terms of at this stage of his career. He's still only 24. He's got a lot to learn about the game. He's not actually played that much football considering his age, but yeah, I'm really happy with this one, mate. I'm really happy to get this one over the line. Obviously, there's a couple more areas. Obviously, with Kiko leaving, we're going to obviously bring in a backup goalkeeper, you'd imagine. And then there'll probably be another couple of signings as well, I think. But yeah, I think we're well placed. I think it's now more about the squad depth, and I think the first and foremost is obviously, I think Pablo's the one, isn't it? In terms of obviously Pablo leaving. I know he didn't play much last season, but that's still probably the one position in this team that probably gets the most scrutiny. It's probably that position next to Mateus Clicker, Stuart Dallas, and Calvin Phillips in terms of that bit more of a creative midfielder, that little bit more of a number 10, in terms of who could do what Pablo did. Obviously, Cunha from Hertha Berlin's been linked. Rodrigo de Paul was obviously linked last season. That one's not going to happen now. He's gone to Atletico Madrid. So it's interesting. It's exciting to see who we might go for in that position. So obviously we know Kiko is left as well. So we're going to bring in a backup goalkeeper, you'd imagine. And it's a bit more about looking at that squad depth now. I think the one position where I look at in that starting 11 that maybe does need strengthening is a bit more of a urgent kind of transfer. Well, I don't really like the word urgent, to be fair, but maybe a little bit more important, an area that we improve on is probably that number 10 position, or that slightly more creative midfielder to complement the likes of Stuart Dallas, Mateus Click, Calvin Phillips, and even Tyler Roberts to an extent. We bring in that Pablo replacement that we didn't really get last season because we still thought Pablo would do the business for us. Ultimately, he didn't. Now he's left. We do need that kind of player in this team. Or we might... Yeah, the thing is with a transfer as well, I don't think you ever truly know what you need. Our style might be totally different next season. Marcelo Bielsa might be thinking that we want 3 hard-working midfielders. We don't want luxury players, so to speak, like a Pablo or that kind of player, that bit more of a creative player who doesn't maybe do as much off the ball. It's a jigsaw almost, but you can't see the actual puzzle. You can't actually see what you're trying to make, kind of thing. You don't know, in terms of what we're speculating. We don't truly know what Bielsa's going for this season. He might be going for a totally different formation, even a different kind of slightly adjusted style of play. And we'll probably see from pre-season, largely what Bielsa's working towards. Obviously, it's not long now, in terms of that first pre-season friendly. I think it's 2 weeks today or tomorrow, is it? I think 27th, 28th rings a bell. So it's not actually... in football terms, that long away. It's only really, it's 2 weeks, isn't it? So, we will see then. And I'd imagine there might be 1 or 2 arrivals before that time as well.
Yeah, no, you make some great points, mate, and some good shouts as well that, the style may be changed. I mean, from a fantasy booking, I would love to see Damsgaard in that number 10 position. Yeah. And Oscar, he reminds me of you. He looks a little bit like you.
I've had this, Honestly, the amount of different lookalikes. People tag me on Twitter of lookalikes. I've had Harry Maguire. I've had Bernardo Silva. I've had someone else as well. Someone else from the England team. I can't remember who it was. And I had Damsgaard after that semi-final. So, I get these lookalike tags on Twitter, and it's annoying me. It's not really annoying me. It's
if I see you in the pre-season Leeds team as Damsgaard, that'll be great, and I will just say it's Oscar.
the sneak on. That's it.
The sneak on. But Oscar, I'm just seeing that you're. This little couple of points that I want to do because I'm conscious about time. I've just seen you with the Leeds shirt from last season. So it leads me on to, have you seen the new Leeds home shirt? Are we going to be wearing the Leeds home shirt next season, Robbie? What's going on? Because it hasn't been released. It's been released in Australia. It's been released in Manchester Airport, the Leeds, the shop, the Adidas shop. And the Leeds shirt has been spotted there, but then it's been taken away. Leeds United Football Club have not come out and exposed their new kit. What's going on?
It's kicked off, hasn't it? It has really, really kicked off about that. In terms of the shirt itself, it's probably not one of my favourites. I'm not going to lie. I'm not massively against the idea of having a little bit more yellow on the shirt, from what I've seen, and I'm not massively against that idea. but it's not my favourite. I'll be honest in terms of the design of seeing. But yeah, there's been a lot of people kicking off about it. The thing is, though, I see it every single year on Twitter. If it's not the home shirt, it's the away shirt, it's the second shirt. They all always sell out. No matter what, they all always sell out. Honestly, it could be anything, and it would still sell out. I mean, but what makes it's still like the moaning on Twitter and all that lot in terms about the shirt. But I'm not gonna lie, it's not one of the best, but people will still buy it. I'll probably still buy it myself at some point.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's as long as it's white, I don't mind. As long as it's white, but the highlighter yellow, it just gives me visions of, Johnny Howson, that Neil Warnock team, which we had Enterprise on, that one with the black shirt Macron made, just gave me visions of that. But what can you do? It is designs and style is ever changing. You get good kits, you get bad kits, and
that's it. The thing is with kits as well is that they don't last longer than a year anyway. Everyone changes the kit every season, so it'll soon be the end of the season, and we're talking about the next kit kind of thing. So yeah, I think the away kits look decent enough from what I've seen. If they are the true away kits, or if they're just concept kits, I don't know, because you see a lot of these concept kits in that lot, and often it's quite like, oh, I wish we had that shirt instead, kind of thing. That looked quite nice, but yeah, I'm always a fan of a yellow Leeds away kit, but I always believe it should be a yellow Leeds away kit, but we've not had that for a while, so I've got over that one, mate. I've got over that one. I would love to see Leeds playing yellow under Marcelo Bielsa. I'm not going to lie, though.
It would be lovely, but listen, look, the fans are coming back this season. We're out of this lockdown, and things are looking good. And listen, with that, I know you're going to be doing a lot of stuff on All Leeds TV. Just tell my subscribers where they can find you. I've plugged it enough, but Oscar, if you say it in your own words, it's always great.
So you can find us on All Leeds TV, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think we're even on TikTok now, I think. But yeah, Phil and Martin took over the Twitter and writing side of things. So make sure you check out the website as well, All Leeds TV. Check us out, guys. We're up to 22,300 subs. I think now we're going to try and push towards 23,000 before the start of the season. We've obviously got a lot of charity initiatives going on this season as well, which we're very proud to say. Something I want to do a lot more of this season. And yeah, we've got a couple of cool things planned, really, to be honest, guys. We're playing against the Leeds United staff in the next couple of weeks as well. So we're looking forward to that very much. We'll see how we get on in that game. But again, all for good charitable cause. Massive thanks to Leeds United for helping us put that together. And we'll see what we can put together this season for you guys. We just can't wait to be back at the ground. There'll be plenty of cool content from Tash and Jack, obviously on the fan cams. I think I've missed those a lot, to be fair. And yeah, it'd just be good to be back filming at Leeds United rather than in the kitchen kind of thing. That'd be good, to be fair, guys. Yeah. But yeah, check us out, All Leeds TV.
Brilliant. Oscar, thank you so much for coming on to the
No worries, mate. I really enjoyed that. Seriously, if you ever want us on again, let us know, or if you want me on regularly, just let us know, mate. I'm sure I can fit it in, during the week if you do want us on, mate. Not a problem at all. I'll help any way I can. Thank you so much. A real pleasure having you on. Guys, that was Oscar from All Leeds TV. My name is Jinder Jade. I'm signing out. Remember, guys, hit a subscribe onto the Loco Leeds football channel, and also please share this video out. Without your support, we can't really do this. But I will see you again for another episode of the Fan View, and thank you for watching. All the best, guys.